So where we left off, you guys were fresh off saving at least part of the jungle from a total wildfire. After you got through that, with everyone being pretty fucked up, and you stopped to kind of take a breather. Um, Soot covered, singed, or in some cases not at all, like Kitty, who's just living her best life, chilling, happy as, barely a scratch on her. But for the rest of you, varying degrees of fucked. Um, but I believe you had a short rest. I'm pretty sure because when I synced up your characters, it looked like there was. Oh, you had. Sorry, no, I take that back. It's actually in my summary. Sorry, I wrote this 2 weeks ago. Um, so while all that was happening, you're dealing with the aftermath of like a firefighting squad arriving. um, you had that ultimatum that led to you assisting with the firefighting. You handle that blaze, and in the aftermath of it, as a few things unfolded, one of them being that your group went to, thank you, appreciate you. Um, Thanks, Dante. The you went to investigate the lake where Zach and his Super Saiyan King Kong form yeeted a wolf. Um, you didn't find too much of anything there other than some burnt fur and a lot of mud. There weren't any tracks or any suggestions of the wolf having exited the water anywhere near where you guys were, despite your best intentions of making a new friend. So from there, Captain Arissa, who was the commander of the fire marshals, um, in interacting with you guys, had brought to her attention and dragged over a whole bunch of charred bodies from the previous encounter that you guys had with the shoot fire first, ask questions later. Bodies of the thugs, where you got to meet Kitty. You did manage, despite Alia repeatedly attempting to, and sometimes succeeding in stealing arms back, that you're acting in self-defense. You managed to get like some begrudging respect and develop a bit of a rapport with a couple of these characters, and definitely some appreciation for your part in saving the jungle, including a mysterious feather that is yet to be unveiled. But I can give you that because you had a short rest. I can give you the details of that. I think Dante, you ended up with it. Um,
I think I put it in the group stories, did I?
did you? Okay, well, but if no
Maybe.
one has it, then we haven't identified it yet. Um, so
Let me check.
the conversation while you're checking that, you ended up with possibly as many questions as you've got answers, but you did. Kitty especially went down an interesting line of questioning and opened up some info to the group that you weren't previously aware of when she started questioning about the mayor's office and their potential involvement in her abduction. Um, you found out the mayor's name, which you didn't previously have. That was Horatio Jones, and you were pointing
Ratio
towards a city to the
Joe.
north, which, as a group of Team Chaos and Team Kitty, um, headed up. Sorry, went into the burned safe zone area of the fire where the fire had already run its course at Kitty's insistence, based on what she'd learnt from firefighters coming to her school. And you all trusted her with that and went to a rest, and then headed up to the north where we left off was you got your first look at the Overcity, which was that giant city built into and on the side of a mountain, with just an absolute shit ton of bird people flying around the city, and appearing to be a significant portion of the population, at least what you can see from where you guys were, flitting and filling the sky and flitting between building to building. Um, and what really stood out to you, aside from anything else, when you were looking at that building and preparing to cross over the bridge to that where Kitty originally met her previous captors, is that at the top of that mountain where the building sits is this huge hand or part of it, sticking out of the top of the mountain like this absolute massive Titanic, overshadowing even the size of the mountain-sized hand. And it appears that at least some buildings and part of the city have been built into the and over the palm of that hand, such as its size. and that's where we left off. So where you guys find yourselves and where your characters are is essentially I don't have a bridge on the map that I bought, so um, I've moved you guys over the bridge as characters, but I'm assuming that you are heading at least at this stage across that bridge and towards the city, and you will be able to safely get across the bridge because I don't have a bridge to put you across. Is that a
Yeah,
fair call that you're
yeah.
heading
Yeah,
towards?
we need a long rest. That's what we need to do.
You guys
Someone's
are
tired.
you guys are you've been through the ringer, and in all of this that's happened, like it feels like this day has lasted for years. But you literally have
Literally.
really just you are now getting towards like the evening as you're coming through and you've seen the city and you're entering almost coming into dusk. So as you've crossed that bridge and heading through, you can see there's a lineup of people heading towards quite a large, which seems unnecessary with so many people flying around, but there is a big archway with an extremely sturdy, what looks like a metal gate that's on the map. It's closed, but where you guys are currently coming from, it's open, and there's a small queue of people lining up
Oh,
to get
there.
in.
Right, I see.
So on the map and where I've got it on the stream, from where you guys are, like there's definitely some other buildings and things around you. That you could investigate or can investigate. But the main thing that is sort of striking and standing out to you is that gate, and especially being on foot, it's kind of dominating your sight line. What do you guys want to do?
Uh,
Do we get any sort
this
of indication about the buildings that we are currently located near being any sort of refreshment slash resting type places?
um, Give me from because you can actually see a bit of these buildings from where you guys currently are. But can you give me a perception or an investigation? I don't care which. Roll whichever's highest.
All of
Just
us, he says, hopefully.
you you're the one who's looking for this at the moment.
No. I swear everyone's looking. Oh, crap.
I
Okay,
think
hang on.
the
Insight. Oh, that's a +0. What's my
not
investigation?
insight,
-1.
investigation or perception.
Perception is +0. Perception it is. Stop it. 19.
Nice. So um the as you're walking up that road and sort of positioning, I'll give you where you guys are as you're walking along it. To the right of where you're walking appears to just sort of be mostly kind of people's homes. Interestingly, they're low set. They they don't seem to be anyone flying around those buildings. They're just like normal, almost medieval style thatch homes, but they're
Muggles.
quite neat and tidy. But they're definitely not as ornate as some of the buildings you can see, at least get glimpses of in the city itself. To your left, though, with a 19, like there's some quite nice gardens and flower beds and trees, and they're really nicely laid out, and it's very appealing. And it seems to be like a sea of color, and it all blends together into the garden itself, and it's very carefully curated. And you can actually see that there is just this very small, not obtrusive at all sign that has like a vine growing around it, that says Cliffside Gardens. The building itself doesn't appear with a 19. The small low set building that almost looks like a if you've ever seen like the buildings that florists who grow their own flowers keep their flowers in, it's almost like that sort of low set long building, with a quite a sturdy door at the end of it, almost like a barn door, but it appears to be closed off, but there's nothing stopping access to the gardens themselves. And there's just a nice little entryway into that, to your left.
Right, well, I bags not opening the barn door because the last time Egg made me open a barn door in game, bad things I could never unsee happened.
That wasn't egg, that was me, but
It was
anyway.
both of you. Well, yeah, open that. Yeah.
It was all three of us because we knew what was behind that door. For
Can
anyone who
never
wants to know
unsee
what we're
that.
talking about,
It's burnt in
go and
my
check out
brain.
the Baldur's Gate videos. You'll find it.
You can't miss it.
Oh, that was funny. Too funny. So, and I mean, and you can also see that like there appears to be. I'll give you up ahead there. There's quite a tall tower structure that appears to be some sort of aqueduct slash water style processing building. There's no actual clear entryway at ground level, but yeah, that's really all you've got within your visual sight lines. And the gate itself there appears to be with night setting. There's a small lineup of people that appear to be queuing, but you can't see why. Damarian, welcome to the stream.
I think that's a bot spa.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just trying to.
I'm just being polite in case they were human. But
Look,
thanks.
when our
Or
digital
Let me
overlords take
communicate.
over.
Yeah, as I said, let me communicate to our new robotic overlords. Make
just a
friends.
specialist user ban evasion. It's Twitch.
Yeah, I can see the
monitoring.
possible ban evader. Well, I look forward to the bot crew turning up if it's a bot, and if it's not, sorry if my friends have offended you, human. So, what would you like to do with that info?
Well, I don't know. What do we think, peeps?
You sharing any of your insights with the
Alright.
group?
Well,
You just
guys,
sort of walking-
not much going on here, but looks like everyone over there at the gate is lining up for something. Maybe food or somewhere to go. I'm pretty parched. I'm beached as, bro. I need somewhere to have a beverage and a lie down.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
let's go where everyone else is and line up then.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, too funny. All right. So, as you guys head up there, I'm going to move you. I don't know why it doesn't let you move your minis. I hope we can get that resolved at some point. As you head in that direction, let me go to the location, to the gates. My quick reference. All right. So as you get closer, the gate itself, the frame around that, what is very clearly like a reinforced metal of some kind, dual gate that is currently hinged open. As that sun is starting to set, you notice that the gates themselves and the material, sorry, the gates themselves, the material of the border of the gates is whatever it's currently is made of is starting to just gently glow. So as it's just steadily getting darker, that material is starting to light up. Just the outline, just whatever that stone or other material is, or whatever it's enchanted or whatever the hell's been done to it, it's starting to glow softly, so you can still see quite clearly um, what's around. There's just a couple of people ahead of you. There's like a couple of families and some people with carts that look like maybe there's goods there that they're looking to sell. It's hard to see because they've actually got it all sort of wrapped up. And at the guard, there appears to only be two people, at least that you can see, that easily visible with your passive perceptions, and that is a person sitting at a desk, just a simple, quite large, but just a simple timber desk. And then there appears to be next to them someone in a more formal guard attire, that is like a half plate, similar to what you saw with the fire marshal with Captain Orissa, essentially a half plate with a red cape attached to it. You can't see any insignia or anything from where you guys are presently, but they seem quite alert and are actively occasionally looking through, say, carts, etc., that are ahead of you. but it appears to be the person sitting at the desk that's doing most of the talking. So that's what you guys are seeing as you are queued up. Is there anything you want to do with that before we sort of move where I assume you're going, which is what you said you wanted to do, which is head into the city and try and find somewhere to eat and sleep, etc.
Are we close enough to where the guards are to hear if, like, what they're talking about, if they're saying anything to people whose carts they're looking through?
Give me a perception check. Let's see what Kitty can hear.
Is this like the Lady Gaga concert where they have like 5,000 people outside and only 2 people letting people in?
Not much. 14.
It's not quite 5,000. Look, with a 14, you can't hear explicitly what's being said, but what you pick up on, because you've got a pretty decent insight as well, is that with the body language you can see and what you can kind of catch the snatches of, it just seems very official. They're not inefficient. They're not being, they're not being particular dickish or pricks to anyone that's coming through. They just seem to be very efficiently, they're alert, but they just seem to be very efficiently working through quick discussions with the people that are coming up. People with carts, the one that's standing is having quite a rudimentary look through, just pulling every now and then a blanket or two up just to give it a cursory once over. But it seems quite a formal, efficient process, kind of like ticking boxes and doing their jobs, but doing it professionally. So
Thank you.
that's okay. Anyone else want to do anything there before, as the next couple of groups ahead of you are, you're getting closer and closer to the gate. At this point, you're probably the next ones up with a cart ahead of you with its goods being inspected.
Fox just keen to find somewhere.
Yeah, Fox hungry.
And Kitty's just
Fox keen for the pub.
observing.
What was that? Sorry, Kayla. I'm just right. Writing and sketching. So when it becomes your turn, there's no issue with the previous groups that have come through. I'll give you with your passives that there's nothing particularly difficult to see here, especially with like the glow, taking away the dim light in your immediate surroundings of the gates themselves. It could be interesting if you lived or slept near those gates. You definitely looks like you want to have some blackout curtains, but the groups that are ahead of you seem to be essentially heading straight up the road that is ahead and appear to be disappearing not too far in the distance around to the left. So in terms of like the map, because I'm not doing fog of war of anything like that, but they seem to be just going past these buildings that are next to the gate and curving up around. So they don't seem to be dallying at all for whatever reason, but you can see them sort of heading up and around. And as you've been queuing up and as you're waiting, it is starting to get to that sort of twilight, sort of dusk light that photographers like so much. So you're kind of at that point where it's not quite dark, but it's not quite light, but you're still very visible with what you can see. So you have lobbed up to the gate, and so as you land there, you just very casually, not aggressively at all, the guard that was standing just shifts in front of your group. However, I don't need a marching it or anything unless you're really keen to kick off here. But then the one that's at the seat, I'm not going to try and do anything other than just communicate with you guys at the moment, the way my voice is essentially asking for names and purpose of visit. And very formal, perfunctory, and much like Kayla, has this, now that you're closer, this huge ledger in front of them with quite an ornate quill and ink pot in front of them. Yeah, poised for name and purpose of visit for your group.
Why are we here?
Oh, hello.
Town visit.
Jonas Christoulis. I'm here for beverage and rest.
Leisure.
Elias, same.
Yep, so you've got two names.
Zach.
Are you still holding an arm?
Yep. I can't remember what my last name is. It's been that long.
I don't. You did
I
have
don't think
one.
I
It was,
ever
it was
had a last.
Ivy's. No, you had Ivy's. I'd be able to look it up if you need
Yep.
it. Well, I'm good with Alia at this point.
I'm a raccoon. You expect me to learn anything more than my name?
You do see the scribe give you like a second look when you speak, and it appears with your passive that doesn't appear to twig to the fact that you are a raccoon holding an arm, as much as that what they had thought was potentially a pet or something else sitting on this orc's shoulder has just spoken to them, but that doesn't comment on it, which is rare because you get a lot of those comments, but definitely a double take at the talking raccoon.
It's getting her to shut up. That's the trick.
So Zach, Kitty, do you guys provide? Is everyone just essentially
Yeah.
following suit and providing their
Yeah.
name?
Zach.
And the purpose of the visit is to for lodgings and was it food, drinks, and bed or whatever it was that Fockiana just said.
A
All right, and
beverage,
so then as he kind of said,
libations, if you will.
what you'll start to pick up on is that from your real world experiences, this seems to be quite a rudimentary version of like immigration when you're traveling. So I will give you, Kitty, you would pick up on that particularly with some of your passives that twig to, oh, these are officials doing their job. So they're alert, but they're not alarmed, and they're taking down information. And the questions are quite familiar with like the real world. You can share that observation with the rest of your group or not. That's up to you.
Kitty has written down good border security professional
There you go.
with a nod and a tick and a
So the
very
reason,
nice.
at least for Kitty, that you now have that context, the next thing that they're asking is the address of where you are staying during your visit to the Overcity.
Pub.
And which pub?
Can you recommend any decent lodgings for myself and my fellow beings? I look at Alia and I look back and I look at the beings.
Yeah, so in response, it's like a pause, but it doesn't look like that's a question they haven't been asked before. And you see the guy at the seat sort of looking your group over and taking in like the various states of caked blood and soot and dishevelment for some of your party. Some of you are in better states than others. Like Fockianus, for instance, is an interesting mix of, he was covered in blood and soot, but he also had Alia upending water from a chamber pot over the top of him that has made some interesting rivulets through the muck, but then he's also fallen face first into the mud and has bits of hair sticking out. So you're an interesting disheveled group, contrasted with Kitty, who's in the pretty good nick, and has managed to stay pretty clean throughout all of this with the way she was positioning and firefighting. And
Just her
Zach,
hair going like this.
who's yeah, the hair's the hair, and Zach, who's cleaned himself on multiple occasions, so his attire is strikingly different to anything else that is around you guys with what people are lining up with. But he is clean, having cleansed himself at least a couple of times since since the muck was getting thrown. So you can see all of that kind of once over and being taken in, and he goes to answer, and then sort of looks at your group again, and flicks back through a couple of pages in this ledger quite rapidly, and then see looking, yeah, So possibly the feathered resting. He's not really talking to you guys at this stage. The guard who's standing, the first time he's spoken, sorry, for context, these are bird people as well. Sorry, I should have mentioned that with the guards. I gave you their uniforms. I neglected to mention that they are those feathered beings like you've met quite a few of. Sorry, should have mentioned that. The so he's quickly got that and he's umming and ahhing. The guy who's standing and is sort of hasn't made any moves to be physically inspecting your persons, but he has been keenly looking at you. Interestingly, gave you a once over earlier and was similarly surprised with when you had spoken, but for whatever reason, no one at this point seems to be particularly bothered by the arm that you are still carrying. That was what my role was for, to see what might happen as a result of that. So yeah, you're apparently, even though you're armed, you're armless. But that guy sort of speaks up. It looks like he's hesitating to speak for whatever reason. You can't quite determine unless someone wants to do an insight to get a little bit more info there.
Kitty would like to.
Yeah, give us a
Bag's
roll.
not me.
And Kitty would like to. Can Kitty see the hesitation that they're not quite believing that we're here for rest?
Give me your insight check and
Okay.
let's see what you.
And I wouldn't believe us either. You got like me and Ali are doing a weekend at Bernie's. Fucking.
Well, Kitty wants to interject and just say that I got a dirty 20. So, Kitty would like to just
thought that was something. You said something else just then.
quickly.
Dirty what?
Dirty 20.
Kitty would like to pop her hand up and just say, we were assisting putting out the fires. We were aiding, and then quickly flicks back through her book. Arissa, Captain Arissa, and we would really like to bathe, if that's okay. We are in a bit of a state. Some of us worse than others. And looks across at the group.
Give me your persuasion check first.
Yep.
So I'll keep your dirty 20 for the insight, because you were also looking for insight on the places to stay, and that will also count towards the what did you get?
6 total.
6 total. The
Woo!
guards sort of look at you and look over you. I'll add this onto your insight. Look, they don't really seem to be particularly bothered by your group one way or the other. They don't seem particularly convinced that you are like heroic firefighters, and nor that particular involvement may be how you know the name Captain Arissa. There's every chance that you could have had a run-in as the fire starters with the captain. So you pick up on that, but there's no actual you get the impression that these guys here, they've heard it all with people coming in and out, and past their stations. So they don't seem particularly bothered one way or the other at your, attempt to convince them of your bona fides. But what the guy who was standing was also going to say is, if I may, because the first guy was saying the feathered resting was sort of talking to himself, so if I may, and let me get the other guy's name. If I may, Erie, unless you can fly, the feathered resting has no ground level. And he points. If you head up around the bridge, there is the one-eyed narwhal that is designed for people like yourselves. And Kitty, you take that as a very sincere, almost like efficiency thing, that he's not really looking to make this take longer than it needs to. They're doing whatever they need to do. They're getting information, they're answering your questions, and they're just doing it quite straightforward. No real agenda, it seems apparent, other than you asked a question, that guy was about to give you some pretty useless information unless you can fly, and you don't appear to be able to fly. There's another lodging that is quite nearby that he's suggesting,
Fantastic.
especially with a
One-eyed
dirty 20.
narwhal.
One-eyed narwhal.
Amazing. Writes it down.
And so you got
Scrolls-
very clear
scrolls them
impression of, like, you're really clear on how they're operating. Like they're doing their job, but they're not looking to muck around and make friends, and they're just here to do. And so they sort of you got that info. Is that where you're looking to stay?
That sounds great. Everyone else? Everyone on board? Yes? Nay?
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Yep. Good. Great. Amazing. Thank you very much, kind Verge gentlemen. Are we free to proceed?
If that changes, come back and let whoever know at the gate that your lodging has changed. And what else did they want to know from you guys? Sorry, I need to flip to my notes for that.
I left my birth
Ah.
certificate at home.
I'm over 16. I can use the social medias. It's fine.
My passport's in my other bag.
Blank looks. Actually, yeah, no, very blank looks. I was going to see if they got that as a joke, but no, no, they're straight over their heads. The final thing is, so look, it's growing dark. The gates will illuminate you. Your way to the bridge. Maybe don't stay out too late at night. There's some strange things happening around parts of the city. Stay safe.
An invitation.
So you've been essentially granted entry, and I'll give you, I know it was an insight rather than a perception, but with that dirty 20, you can see, Kitty, that as the gates are lighting up and as you guys are heading under them, the what look like sort of random runes, as it gets darker and darker and darker and the light comes on, sort of the dead patches in the gates themselves have over the archway the gate of radiance is really clear to you as the name of what you're walking through, that landmark.
Does it buzz if I have metal or?
You wait to see as you go through, but it doesn't
I'm
appear
about to
to,
find out.
and you don't get wandered. Oh my goodness, your group if you had to
With the empty our
do that.
bags, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness, I think you guys would be revisiting so much of the shit that you've got
Be
in there.
here till 2027.
Alia would be here until 2037.
So you can identify each individual piece of just shit that Alia has collected and continues to collect. So as you guys head through, it's really clear as you're heading in through the gates, and I'll find out where you're intending to go in a second. But the buildings that are next to the gate, isn't really clear what their purpose is. There doesn't seem to be a lot of signage or anything on them as you give it a cursory glance passively going past, but it's all shuttered up. So whatever these things are, it looks like that's why people were just walking past them, because there is quite literally along this entryway and this quite broad cobblestone street, quite well made, interestingly, despite what appears to be a lot of people flying around. Less now as you come in and dark is falling, you're noticing less and less, whether that's because of the dark or because there's less around. There's definitely appears to be less flyers, but there doesn't appear to be anything open in those buildings at this point. They're closed up. The one I'll give you that is quite obvious as you're coming through, the two tall buildings on either side of the gate are very clearly guard towers. Nothing overt that you can see again passively as you come through, but they're definitely guard towers. So quite possibly things could have gone badly if you decided to, for some reason, to kick on as you're trying to enter the city. Not that that's something that you guys would do. So, yeah, give it time. So is your basic intent at this point to head towards that lodging that you were given? I just need to know that, or where you're heading. or what you want to do as you're walking, excuse me, along the pathway. Sorry, excuse me.
Kitty is at the back end of the group.
Yeah, I can
Just
put you wherever
following.
you like, but yes.
Yeah, just following whichever direction they are heading in, but walking slowly to take as much detail into her book as possible. Just taking lots of notes, drawing a little map with buildings of interest or ones that you think she might want to come back and visit later to have a look in.
All right. Well, had Kitty studied, or this is actually I just need to know this. No role on this, just your backstory. Had she studied or visited, or had like awareness, because she's a teacher, of things like medieval, Roman, Greek, sort of style historical buildings?
In the way of studying history, no. In the way of studying classical theatre and literature, yes. So all of her knowledge that she has of medieval or Roman style buildings is all based on set designs of theatre productions that she's been in. That
Got
is
it.
all she's got.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, what I give you is your sketching then, without us doing any kind of, unless you want to roll stuff at some point for it. But these look kind of familiar, and you're pretty sure that you've definitely seen some of this stuff before. It's ringing a bell as maybe it was Roman, maybe it was Greek, maybe it was something old, but there's definitely echoes of that kind of architecture to the buildings as you're walking past them. I think we'll leave it at that with Kitty's theatre.
And Kitty mumbles to herself as she's sketching, Cleopatra would be great here.
Oh my god.
Just keep sketching.
Oh Jesus. Oh, too funny. Yep. Perfect. So as you guys are weaving your way along past these sort of shuttered up, closed buildings, whatever they are, some of them have some like it appears like there's little like glows of light coming from the inside, but nothing overt, nothing that you can see into. And as you come up to that left-hand bend, that the guard whose name you didn't catch because it wasn't mentioned, if you missed it when I said it, the one who was sitting down was Iri, IRI. That was the only name that was mentioned. They didn't introduce themselves. You just heard one guard very clearly talking to the other when the the bird person in was mentioned. So as you come around, there's this really wide stone bridge, very well made. It has water flowing underneath it. It's quite high up over a gorge. It extends around 60 or 70 meters, but it's just dead flat. So as you're coming through and you sort of been on a slight incline, it levels, and then you can see on the other side that there's a bit more of an incline as you're sort of steadily working your way up the side of this mountain. If you're looking at the map, like where you're currently walking in the uphill side of it, but the bridge has been designed so that it actually cuts in to the mountain and the gorge and is dead level, and then you can see the incline increasing, and there's some quite ornate statues as you go along. You got no idea who these people are, but there's 4 different bird people in different poses, holding different weapons. One appears to be a warrior, another a mage, another a cleric. And the other you're not quite sure. It looks a little bit like the warrior, but wearing a bit more plate mail. But definitely appears to be a fighter of some sort. And that's the bridge.
Write this
So
down. This will be a puzzle later.
Oh,
I'm sure someone in your group is now taking notes.
One fighter, one cleric, one roguey one.
There was a fighter, a cleric, a mage, and the other one that looked sort of like a fighter but was in plate mail. But stood out as being a little bit different. It wasn't quite the same as what was very clearly a fighter as you're walking along. You can stop and examine it more closely if you want, but that's what you're getting as you're essentially on the bridge. I'm assuming you're walking across it. I'm kind of just passively working where I think you guys are going, unless you tell me different.
Kitty is rapidly writing down, like they had a lineup photos in jail. She's like 5'9", dark hair, blue eyes, looks like. Yeah, yeah.
The statues.
Yes.
The statues are huge. Like the statues are around.
Proportionately could have been 5'9" question mark.
Proportionally, okay. Give you that. Just, the statues are like around 5-6 meters tall. They're these big oversized statues. I mean, you can sort of see them, but there's no light source on them, so you're looking at them in dull light. You're getting a glimpse of them. There is a few like flickering torches marking the way along the bridge, but there is no danger. You would have to actively seek to have an accident off the bridge. It is just a big, level, safe place to walk across. And then the direction and placement you got given for the one-eyed narwhal was up and around the side of this bridge. I'll give you the position, but you will also see a couple of other things as you cross it. Is where I put the text marker. It's essentially this building. I'm trying to get this out of the way so that we can see it. It's the building here that sort of wraps around a central courtyard and has this tall building beside it. So that's where you guys are currently going. That's where you believe from those instructions where you're heading towards the bridge. To the left of it, that is literally the building that is the most to the left of the bridge as you cross it.
What's that big circle building straight ahead from the bridge? The gem on it.
Yeah, so you do see that building as you cross. Egg, is Zach looking to go and inspect it more carefully, or are you just sort of generally asking? You asking me this, or is Zach kind of using?
Zach, go have a look. It looks pretty. I don't know.
So, despite what
is it like? What's the time of day? Sorry,
it's almost. It's very close to like full dark. So you've gone through the twilight as you entering into the city, and as you've been walking, you're moving from that basically dusk to full night kind of phase. It's about to be proper night.
Yeah, maybe we should just go to the tavern and explore tomorrow.
Well, you can have a look. As you're looking at it, you can definitely see this building, and it does have torches around the base of it. It appears to be shuttered up. It does, interestingly, have some entry points, because what was mentioned, the Feathered Rest Inn that was originally discussed was an inn that doesn't actually have any ground floor, so you had to fly to get into it. This building appears to cater for both flying and walking foot traffic, at least from the outside, from what you can gather. I'll give you that much. And you can definitely see like this big thing with a glowing gem crystal at the top that is providing some illumination around the surroundings and pushing some of that darkness away, and has torches around it as well. But where you are, you've got a decent amount of light as you cross the bridge, and there appears to be light on the inside of where you think is the inn. From where you are at the bridge with like the trees and stuff that are in the way, you can't get a decent look unless you are really wanting to try and suss that out. But you guys are essentially, yeah, I'm just going to hide Victor because it's going to make this so much easier for me to move you guys if I don't have to keep fart-assing around with him. So he's just going to disappear up the top of the screen for a bit. There we go. He can stay there. All right. So across the bridge, you've all got the same rough idea about where this inn is. Is that what is anyone taking the lead of kind of heading towards a specific spot, or
yeah,
what do you guys
Kitty's going straight in.
All right. Is everyone else going along as well?
Spock is following.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's good. Kitty didn't check.
a sign with like a narwhal on it, I suppose. And
Sorry,
going,
sorry, Zach.
oh, looking for like a sign with a narwhal on it, because that's what would be on the front of it. Like, make sure it is the building. Not just blindly going off these directions and like falling off a cliff somewhere. But probably like.
So,
Kitty did write down the directions she was given. She's very thorough.
so
You
as
don't always trust the people giving the directions are good at giving directions.
as you're having this conversation, as Kitty's just charging off like, you know, lollipop lady at the end of a shift style and towards the building, and Zach's kind of like, oh, I just, you know, oh look, I can see that as she goes in the door. But for the rest of you who, and Zach especially, is actually looking for a sign to go, hey, is this actually where we're meant to be, and not just rocking into someone's house that might have a crossbow leveled at the door, or you know, just shooting a fireball randomly because they got suspicions. That you
And
see
now a valid suspicious.
for you, Zach, and the rest of the group who are with you and within earshot, if you choose to share that you pointed out the sign, you actually do see that now that you've kind of pushed through the pathway and past those the the decorative shrubbery that's out the front, um, there's a quite a big sign, like a big timber painted sign that's reminiscent almost of like Mort's safe room, the first time you encountered it in Dungeon One for you guys who met Mort. The and painted on there is like this cartoonishly fat, oversized narwhal with the, you know, big oversized narwhal horn coming out of its head. It's got this big shit eater smart ass grin on its face. It's got one eye, the other eye's got like almost like a pirate eye patch on it. There's a big crack running up the horn that's on the painting, whether that's the paint cracking or a deliberate artistic choice is a little bit hard to see. And then underneath it, appearing to have been added on later, and nowhere near as nice a creative font as the as the one-eyed narwhal word that went with the picture. There's like this second little sign that's squeaking away underneath it that just says in much more hand painted fashion, rooms, rations, regrets. And that's the sign.
What font? Tell me more about the font.
It's handwritten.
Is it in papyrus?
Papyrus. It's in. Someone appears to have tried really hard to paint this neatly. Font. And then so Kitty, the rest of them have seen the sign. You charge in. So as you push through the doors, the inside is well lit. The first thing that hits you is the smell, and it's not unpleasant, but it's 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 almost like a seawatery, briny smell, and there's definitely the smell of almost like fresh seaweed, almost like what you would get from, you know, fresh seaweed on a sushi roll. It's you can definitely smell like undertones of like a bit of, whether it doesn't appear to be anything where you're standing, but there's definitely appears to have been sawdust in the smell that you're getting used on the floor in the building at some stage, that has left quite a sweet smell in the air from whatever the type of sawdust was that was used. There's also a further underlying sweet smell that's difficult to kind of position. Like it's an odd smell. It's not unpleasant, but it's almost like something that's been put in place to almost like a real estate agent saying, you know, cook cookies, make the house smell nice when you're trying to sell the house. It's like someone who's definitely takes pride in this place and has put something there to make it smell nice, despite anything else that may happen in the pub. They're making an effort to make it smell good. As you look overhead, the lighting and the candles that are, and candelabras that are sitting from the ceiling appear to have been carved out of whalebone. Like there's these huge bones that would be difficult, and thematically, you know, it seems to be the connection. And it would be difficult to think of anything else in your experience that would be quite so large with the way that the lighting is strung along them, and it's really well lit. As a result of those, there's not too many. There's like tables and stools, and then a few like well-made barrels that are like standing drinking spaces around. The What you do notice is that even though it's all well maintained, not everything necessarily matches. The rest of you will see this as you come in. I'm just going to do this once because Kitty came through first. So the stools and the tables, they don't necessarily all. Some are just stools. Some are chairs that have got a back to them. Different types of wood have been used in the manufacture. Sometimes they've got like circular legs, other times they're square, other times they're. It's all well maintained, but it's all quite mismatched, and it's obviously mismatched for whatever reason. It's not all uniform. And you can see at the back wall as you come in, like you've got this quite open space that it has tables and all those different things spaced out around it. There's plenty of room should there be um, a crowd come through. That you definitely wouldn't be tripping over each other in your two tables. But then you see at the back wall, after all of these birds that you've seen, it's actually a human or appears humanoid at least, standing at the back wall. Quite a tall, almost Fokionis tall, but human rather than orc or half orc. He's got broad shoulders. He appears to sort of be leaning to one side, not quite able to be standing quite comfortably. And he's got a welcoming smile on his face, but you can also see in the eyes that this is someone who has lived a life, and there's weathered lines on his face, and being a twinkle in an eye and a smile on his face, and he genuinely appears happy to see you. This is, the person behind the bar has definitely lived a life and seen some shit. What would you like to do as you've sort of come through? Would you like to kick off here, or are you waiting for him to say something? What's Kitty looking for?
Are we in order, like Kitty's there first and we're just sort of filing behind?
Yeah, you guys will essentially come in you're only a couple of seconds behind. You just took a moment to read the sign and make sure it was the right place if you stayed with Zach. So you're only like a round of combat behind you, maybe 5 or 6 seconds tops.
So Kitty would like to greet the patron. That's the wrong word.
You're the patron,
Publican.
the publican.
I'm the
proprietor.
patron. It's
You are the
me.
patron.
Yes, the
Proprietor.
My brain wants to say papyrus, and it's wrong.
Yes,
It's just going
Can
around in
misphrase it
circles.
as well.
it was papyrus.
So anyway, Kitty greets him, and says, "Do you happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 rooms for lodging?" Looks at Alia. Sorry, would you like your own room? You can have your own room if you need your. I understand. Just let me know.
She sleeps in the bin.
4 rooms and 1 large bin, please.
I mean, he's not wrong.
You can see as you come in, and the rest of you come in and catch sort of the part of this where Kitty is then directing this to Alia. Interestingly, just to Alia, not to the rest of you as to what you might want, but just what Alia would prefer. But you can see as she sort of come in, it's almost like Kitty has just burst through the door and gone, and the guy who's standing there, you can see several times in this tirade conversation is trying to speak, but he's catching himself to not interrupt, but waits for all of this to happen, pauses. Welcome to the One-Eyed Narwhal. I'm Fitz. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And you see that where you noticed as he didn't seem to quite be standing comfortably, he starts limping around the bar to greet you, or reaching out his hand in a handshake gesture, which is surprising because you've not come across a lot of people who greet you guys in this way. So is anyone going to accept this handshake from Fitz, who's
Oh,
around, and as
Aaliyah's going to
around,
extend her
Yeah.
her extra arm for the
perfect,
handshake.
perfect. And as you're doing this, and you notice the rest of you, like it's no attempt is being made to hit it. The almost comically, if it wasn't for the fact that it fit his look so well, as Fitz comes around, he has a literal peg leg that is just visible below the cuff of his long pants. It's not like something you can see attached to a knee. You don't know where it starts and where it ends, but you can just see the tail end of it. That is literally like the stereotypical tapered pirate peg leg with a circular stump that is going tap 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 on the floor as he walks around the bar and walks over to you guys. As the rest of you are taking him in, and you sort of got that rugged look about him. As you get a closer look, and as he's becoming closer to you guys, he looks late 40s, early 50s. He's got on a coat that sorry, coat was the wrong word there. Like a mix between a coat and an apron. So it's like that bartender outfit, but it is also built for functionality and freedom of movement. Like, this is the way this guy moves, even with his peg leg. It's pretty clear that, at least on appearances, he knows how to look after himself as well. His nose, as you see, it's definitely crooked. It's been broken more than once. He's got this big, bushy, salt and pepper beard. That you see him closer up, that smile that hasn't wavered. Seems genuinely happy to see you guys, and have people in his establishment. You don't need any big roles to get that surface level. Passively, you can pick up on that. And definitely it seems to be a real smile and a real genuine offer of greeting. What you do see, that is interesting as he gets closer, is that that bartender's, that coat, like that apron cross, definitely appears to be built for functionality and protection, as opposed to and work. So it's got like lots of pockets and different things in it, but it also, closer up, appears to be quite a fine chainmail, so that he's got some protection on that, from that apron, as well as being able to put things in it and in and out of the pockets. Alia, as you're reaching out with your extra hand, he just tilts his head back, and just this booming, guffawing, genuine belly laugh comes out. Like, oh, I like you. I could have used that years ago. And he holds up, what you hadn't noticed is his left hand that wasn't being held out is actually pinned back, and he has nothing there from the elbow down. So the left leg is a timber stump, and he's holding that up to the arm that you're reaching out. Then he shakes it. Do you give him your name as well, or are you just the raccoon? He doesn't seem bothered at all by the fact that
Raccoon's
you're
got the
holding it up.
massive smile on her face.
And he's, after shaking the corpse hand, he's reaching his hand to anyone else who would like to take it. Are there any other handshakers? This is your character, of as whether you are objectioning, or this is something that you want to partake in or not. This is interesting for me to know as well.
Yeah, Fox a handshaker.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a big
I'll
one.
shake his hand. Yeah, shake, 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 shake.
Kitty does.
Yeah.
And so as he gets to Zach and those pristine white gloves, and he says to Jason, "Oh, you would have been popular on board the ship, boy." Shaking Kitty's hand, "You know how to make a hell of an entrance, girl. I wasn't sure I was going to get a word in edgeways. Rooms. You want rooms? We've got rooms."
Please, that would be lovely. And it's pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Come, let's sort this out. Pull up a stool, pull up a table. And out of the apron, he starts flipping out the very basic menus to you guys, which is really essentially versions of stews and cheeses and breads. This is just like simple hearty fare is what you're getting the opinion very clearly from the menu. And there's no drinks menu, but there is this rough menu that you've each gotten a copy of. There's things on there like it's pretty reasonably priced, so that you can get like a full breakup loaf of bread and cheese. That's 5 silver. The stews are around the same, 5 to 8 silver, depending on the size that you want, how much meat you want in it. It's pretty reasonable. You can basically, if you've got particular things you want to see if he's got, I can answer that for you. But what you basically landed there, if you're hungry, there is what appears to be pretty decent hearty meals at a reasonable price. Does anyone want drinks?
Yes, fuck Jonas. Definitely wants both. Food and beverage.
Kitty wants drinks.
All right.
Just drinks.
All right. So as you guys are you pulling up to the bar? Are you going to sit at a table? Just positional wise, where are you guys looking to? Because he's gone up to the bar. He'd actually started pouring drinks and just laying them onto the bar
Yes.
before you giving your order.
sit at the
So
bar.
there's beers. There's like a variety of what appears to just be straight liquors in sort of like whiskey tumbler style glasses. They're a bit of a thicker glass. They're quite heavy. You definitely look like you could do some damage if you smack someone in the head with one or threw it at them. But they've got just a variety of different liquors that are almost like a color gradient of the rainbow of the different darknesses and lightnesses, from light at one side down to pitch black at the other. You can take your pick along the drinks. You investigate them to your heart's content. And we've got the big boys give them one order of food. Is everyone looking for? Are you essentially just like fill us up? Is that your general attitude,
Yeah,
or do you
legit.
find specific things?
Go nuts.
They're picky eaters who I don't remember that from all your character. I know a few of you are not, but
What do you
don't know
want?
if anyone
I'm
has
a
any
garbage
particular-
disposal.
I
You
know.
give me
That's what I
anything.
know. I know a few of you. All right. And so, sorry, Zach.
Okay.
So you see him pull out from a different pocket, different like chainmail pocket to where he's pulled out the menus, pull out this little quite really high quality looking, almost like a spiral notepad, puts it on the bar, and then sort of looks at it and go, oh, no, that needs a wipe, and then rests it on sort of the crook of where the elbow and arm would have been. Seems to be quite adept at working around the fact that his arm is missing from the forearm down, almost like he'd met Phocyonis earlier in another life. And he just starts writing on that pad, pulls it off, holds it up, and it just goes and disappears.
Magic trick. I know that one. No.
So I bet you do. It's quicker than going back and forth to the kitchen on this leg, and he taps the leg with the peg on it. So is anyone getting into these drinks? There's big, like what appears to be beer, like a dark ale. There's like I said, there's a whole range of different spirits. Who's doing what?
Yeah.
Oh, Fock is drinking.
So just beers? Are you trialing any of these?
Fucking
Beer is
drinking
good for-
whatever's put directly in front of him.
Beer is good for the
Kitty-
moment. Yes.
Yep, it's nice.
Kitty would like to ask what his favorite is and get a glass of whatever that is.
He's taps the right at the far end, like the lighter side of the spectrum. He taps the two there. There's quite a bright yellow and a more subdued green. He's like, these ones, lemon or lime, take your pick. There.
Lime, please.
So get into it. So it's quite a generous pour, and then drinking it, it's essentially like a lime version of like a limoncello liqueur. It's a sweet, very sweet liqueur. Hits the tongue nicely. Has a very pleasant aftertaste to it, and a little bit of a burn and a kick as it slides down your throat. It's pleasant.
Nice.
And
Kitty is
fuck,
very contentedly sipping that and sketching away in her book, humming with the glass in one hand, bouncing a foot, just having a great time.
perfect. Anyone else doing anything else there?
Have we got food back here?
Aaliyah's face first
Food, no
into
food
one of
yet?
the fucking huge ass ale jugs.
It is delightful. Very pleasant taste, much nicer than some of the drinks that came in cartons that Ivy would occasionally bring home, or that Jake would bring around. This is a nice beer. It's fresh, pleasant, light on the palate. Enjoyable drinks. And nobody seems to be suffering any ill effects from them, so that's positive too.
That's a good start.
Zach, you noticed that as you noticed, you stood back a little bit there, that everyone seems to be having quite a pleasant time with the drinks as they're waiting for the food. So from Fitz is so what brings you guys into the big city? You're an interesting, eclectic looking bunch.
The fire brought us here.
Can't half tell that for some of you. Did you start it or stop it, or both?
Both.
I stopped it. And goes back to drawing.
As all this is happening, he's refilled Alia's beer, pulled another one, topped up your glass, Kitty. Nothing over the top, but he's noticed that it was empty. He seemed to be enjoying it, so he's refilled it. The big smile says, bloody smoke. Thank you for that. I mean, shit that you started, but I'm sure you had your reasons. What's life without a bit of fun? Rooms. So he outlines to you, sorry, I can't keep doing that. He outlines to you guys that there's 5 rooms in the inn. One of them is already taken. So there's essentially 2 rooms that are basically, it's very clear with you guys, like they're clean. They've got the almost like if you've ever seen them, the way he describes it is essentially like a Roman style toilet. So there is sort of running water that will go through those rooms, and whatever you do will be sluiced away in those cheap rooms. So you do actually have, a version of the bathroom as provided in the crawl, but it's not quite as fancy as what you've potentially been used to in this particular dungeon. The mattress is essentially a straw mattress on the floor. The door, he kind of shrugs and goes, look, it's got a lock. But these are the cheap rooms, like it's there. Then there's 2 standard rooms, and in those are 2 beds, like bed frame beds with mattresses. He seems a bit more confident in the locks that are on those doors. And then there's a premium, like the one-eyed Narwhal's version of like a penthouse room or presidential suite, but it's really, you get your impression that it's it's the best of what's available here. But he does mention that it has like triple reinforced locks. It's got soundproof roof. It's soundproof. It's fireproof, and it's the top of the line of what they've got available. The premium room is 15 gold a night. The standard rooms are 5 gold a night. The cheap rooms are 2 gold a night. So there is 6 rooms here, but there's only 5 available.
I'll take the trash can.
He drags one out to the end of the bar.
Just just like ass up in a trash can.
He drags out an empty one. You can hear this like sort of shaking, and then he looks at you and goes, ah. He tilts it down. You hear him like bend over, and you hear things going back into the trash can. Drags it down to the end of the bar, puts it there. Says, you can sleep in it, but it's got to be in one of the rooms. You're not having free run of me pub. Oh god, I can just imagine.
Well, wherever
Aria.
fuck goes, Aaliyah will follow with her trash can.
Of course.
I'll get one of the cheap rooms.
So you can work out sort of your compositions, but is essentially the plan that you're looking to, as a group, take the remaining 5 rooms to then divvy up. Don't feel you need to stress Victor too much. We can jam him in somewhere if that ends up being necessary.
Yes.
How many surfaces are in the premium room?
How many what, sorry?
Surfaces.
Not sure what you mean by
Or like
surfaces. It's
couches and chairs and beds.
oh, gotcha. It's got a couch and it's got a bed, and he gives you like this big grin and a really slow wink. And the bed easily sleeps 6 if you're sleeping.
So are we all staying in the premium room?
If it's not clear from the interaction, he's a cheeky shit. There's nothing. You're not getting passively any sleazy vibes. I'll give you passively like what you. This is also because I want to make sure I'm coming across the right way. It's cheeky publican for those who spent much time in pubs.
Yeah, we're not,
Kitty's down to share.
not that kind of role playing.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely we're going to stick to the fade to black if anyone goes down that road of the campaign. So in case you missed it, Kitty was just saying that she's down to share a room with somebody.
Well, considering the premium room soundproofed, fireproofed, we're probably better off fucking staying in there.
Soundproof as a
Oh my
benefit
god,
to the
you made a
outside world.
sign.
Amazing.
As
I
you
drew
guys
one.
Yes.
That's okay.
Oh my
Yours is
goodness.
better.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
Please feel free to share any of that stuff in the Discord, hey, either the private or the public channel. That's amazing. So as
Mine has papyrus.
So good.
as you guys are waiting and drinking and talking about the rooms and who's going to go where, and you've booked the rooms, is anyone going to pay up front, and for how many? If you are, how many nights you're looking at? I don't need the exact composition of who's in what rooms at the moment. We can sort that out
Do we have a timer
as we
to
get to
complete
that.
the level?
Not that you're aware of yet. You haven't been hit with that yet. You hadn't been hit with that through the jungle, and you haven't been hit with that with this level yet. Good question.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
this
every
count
other
as a
level we've had a timer.
Mm.
Yeah, an interim. That was my next question. Does this count as an interim?
safe room.
Sorry, are you asking me? Yeah, you're in just a. This is not.
So yeah,
This
this is
like
above
you didn't
the
go
table.
through you didn't go through like a shimmering, that really clear shimmering entryway that differentiates the safe room from other spaces. You just came into this as like a building,
Gotcha.
as an inn. So you're in a pub. And I'll give you that because it was clear when you entered the dungeon. This is definitely a dungeon level, but the details weren't super clear at the first entry. It was essentially directing you guys that you needed to get to the Overcity. That was, and you've arrived there now. You've been
okay.
working your way towards that, and you hadn't been on any particular timer as you've been as you've been weaving your way to it. Yeah, it seems to have been a bit different. Great question. Seems to have been a bit different so far to what you previously experienced, any of you. It's yeah, been a bit different this one so far. But you're very much aware that you're in a building, you're in a pub, you're not in a safe room.
Is the food there yet?
No, yeah, we're about to get to that. So that's literally what I was starting to say. So as you're like drinking and getting into that, if anyone goes past 2 drinks, can you just let me know? Because it's nice and it's pleasant, but these are quite strong beverages. Like they're good quality and they're not watered down. So just let me know if your character is going past like a second beer and moving on, or a second you've gone past 2. All right, Kitty.
Kitty's not quite sure how many, because every time Kitty looks at her glass, it's got more in it.
Aha.
Well, every
So
time
she's
it's
just been
emptied,
sipping away.
Fitz says he has, for the rest of you, if anyone who may have paid attention, he has only been refilled when it's gotten empty. He's topped it up. Or sorry, not topped it up, he's refilled it. So let's go, Kitty. Let's say at this point, we're pretty early on in proceedings. Let's just say you're on to your 3rd drink. So give me a Constitution saving throw.
What?
Uh,
I don't want to see how fucked up you guys get.
We've been down this route before.
You certainly have.
Wait. Come on, give me the thing.
Oh.
19.
19. Look, this is exceedingly pleasant, but you've been through some shit. This is barely touching the sides. It's
Kitty's
a
got a glass
pleasant,
leg.
warm, glow you're getting. You're comfortable. You're relaxing a little bit, but you're still super aware of what's going on, and you're just enjoying this really lovely flavor. And you appreciate the gentleman who keeps every time you run out, he's filling up your glass for you. It's such a nice change from the last few interactions you've had with people when you've met them the first time.
It is lovely. And Kitty thinks about the last time she had an alcoholic beverage. And that is when all of her colleagues and friends died.
What?
Kitty was at a party for one of her colleagues when the fall happened, and she's reminiscing, having these drinks, about the last time she was, sitting in a gathering of people and not running from something or through something, and thinking back about when the fall happened, and she was sitting outside in the garden having a lovely time with her friend's maternity party. She was having a baby shower type deal, and the fall happened, and it's never been the same since. So this is a particularly lovely drop, and Kitty may or may not have more.
Is Kitty expressing that to the rest of the group?
Yes, I was about to say, are you sharing that as you sort of relaxing and
No.
No,
Just
okay.
drawing and staring into the void.
Okay, so the rest of you aren't aware of that, but that's good for us as players to know.
Is Kitty drawing that in her book?
What, her all of her friends and colleagues' demise, or
her recollections of that experience?
I think at this point, Kitty is just scribbling angry, pointy, not quite stars,
right,
and
so
just staring.
But Kitty's still doing stuff on the book, right?
Yeah, aggressively. Yeah.
All right. As you're enjoying. Oh, sorry. Go for.
I was going to say, do the rest of us notice this?
Give me. What are you trying to pick up on? Like mannerisms on what? Are you just generally? Do I notice?
Curious. I'm just wondering if Fock has the capacity to be genuinely curious or not.
Let's give me Fock's perception roll to see whether he notices that.
Probably not.
What did Fock roll?
8.
Look, Kitty seems to be able to definitely handle her drinks. She's drinking that funny girly stuff, but it suits her. You've seen plenty of girls like her in the club, not necessarily ones that look like devils that have walked out of quite pleasantly out of the hells with their casual best on, but she seems to be handling it all right. You are looking at through the bottom of your beer stein, and
Large
I'm going to
picture of
get you.
beer.
I'm going to get you to give me a Constitution saving throw on that
What?
perception of 8.
Come on. Saving there. Oh yeah. Oh, cool. 14
Oh, okay. That was going to
Plus
be
7.
so much worse.
plus 7. Thank God.
Look, you momentarily get distracted by seeing that Kitty's staring off into space a little bit, but you notice at that point that your drink's going empty and another one is full there and ready and waiting for you. So you're looking at most things through an amber glow, and you are definitely feeling a pleasant buzz from these drinks. They are going down really easily, and you're not potentially noticing just how big these. What you think are maybe a stein, but they're fucking huge. But you're big and strong now compared to when you were last sitting drinking beers. So you're maybe not quite picking up on just how big these beers are. You're definitely
am I?
feeling a good buzz. All right. Yeah, I'm tipping you're not with them. As you're doing this and you're drinking and looking, you see Fitz just walks slightly to the side of where you guys are and bangs on the top of the bar in what appears to be a very specific spot. It doesn't look any different to the other spots, but almost Harry Potter like. They don't slide through the tabletop. In front of you guys, just lined up along the bar, the length of where you guys are around your drinks, this food just apparates, just comes into being there. However, it has happened. There's this hot steaming bowl, like big pots of stews and meats and cheeses and breads and just hearty fare. Lots of it. Smells great. Are you hooking in?
Spock is eating.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm
Spock looks at Fitz. Bro, look at that feed. That's amazing. Let's go. I'm hungry as.
All right.
Yeah.
As you guys are getting into, oh, sorry, you were going to say something, Zach?
Zach digs in just as well.
And so as you're like settling in and adding food to these drinks, you guys all hear this crash as the doors go slamming open, and as you look around, you see this huge, or like putting Fokionis and even Victor to shame, orc woman. She is
No.
massive and muscular, and it's hard to tell she appears to be wearing a dress of some kind, but it's hard to tell because she is just covered in blood and looks exceedingly distraught and just kind of staggers and stumbles over to the bar. Fitz has already started to come around and she sinks into a stool, puts her head on her arms and starts sobbing and manages to get out in broken in between like these great heaving sobs to Fitz. There's been another one. That's what you're able to make out at the moment. We can play this out a little bit if you guys have got a little bit longer, or would you like to?
What?
Play it out a bit.
Can I just
Sorry, I
clarify
will
above
ask.
the table? At what point are we long rested?
Yeah, you haven't yet. You've secured accommodations for the night.
Oh,
You're eating, you're drinking.
why do I feel like we're gonna go get fucked up again before we get to long rest?
This is the regrets part.
It really is.
So
Sorry, cool. That was
No,
above
no,
the table
just
question.
well, this isn't above the table question. This is essentially we can play this out for a bit longer. But I wanted to ask, because this is just an event that's occurred. Are all of you okay to stay for a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. All
Are
right.
you?
So yeah. I would have just pulled the pin if I wasn't. So Fitz had already started as soon like head snapped around when he saw the door and he saw who came through, and he's rapidly moved around the bar. He's pulled up a stool next to this huge giant woman who's is just diminished in size the way she's just crumpling with emotion, and he's put his his arm around her shoulder, and you can hear him. He's not trying to hide any of this from you guys. He's very focused on her and concerned about her. Excuse me. Hey, Gum, what happened? Where? I before their conversation sort of continues, are you watching this play out at the moment?
Fox pretty hungry. He's like eating but giving a side eye. As he, does have the skills to do one thing and keep an eye on something else, given that he spends a lot of time, observing people professionally.
Yeah, he's doing the equivalent of eating a kebab and manning the door at the nightclub.
That's right.
If no one else
Not
is
his first falafel.
I think Kitty is listening, but she hasn't taken her eyes off the spot that she's staring.
Still a bit lost in your reverie. Yep. Okay, so as you're taking various points of interest, either overt or side eye, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Racer, but I would suspect that Alia is just staring straight at these guys like that.
Yeah.
Like that 3-year-old with no filter who's just over the side of the table, just staring at the people at the next booth. So as you're sort of taking this in, you can see a bit closer up and in the better light, like there is so much blood, but it's over the front of this person. Or you've heard the name as Gum. But the rest of her clothes seem really clean and neat and decent quality. The blood itself seems to be centered around the front, like around her hands, her arms, shoulders, front and chest of her, the dress that she's wearing and the cloak that's sitting over the top of it. Despite being somewhat disheveled, her hair is actually really well kept. It's pulled back in a really tight, long braid down the back of her shoulders, but there's some blood has caught. You can see it clearly as it's coming to the front of her hair. When she finishes, sort of just those racking sobs, and appears to be taking a few breaths and seems to center herself, and she sort of pats Fitz's hand gently and takes it off her shoulder. You see as she sits up and as she's wiping tears from her face and smearing blood as she does so, because her hands are drying but not quite dry, coated in blood, that she sort of takes a moment, takes a breath, looks around, and sees you all for that really appears to be taking you with a bit of clarity. Her eyes are clear, but you can see that they were initially clouded in grief, and that appears to have wound back somewhat. I'm just making sure I check her stats on how she's going to do the next bit. That's all right. Wanted to make sure she could talk in proper sentences. So she taking us in, and it's just like, look at me, I'm so sorry. And I've interrupted your meal. I'm so sorry, because I didn't, it's been so long, I didn't know you had customers. I'll go up to my room. I will fill you in later. To which Fitz puts a hand on, no, stay. No one here. It's not going to matter if anyone here hears what you have to say. They need to know the lay of the city. Does anyone want to weigh in at this point, or are you all happy just
Chewing away.
continuing to listen in?
Kitty slipped to a new page and stopped scribbling
Ooh.
altogether. She's ready to go.
Yeah, it looks at you as my name's Gum Gum. How long have you been in the city?
What's the time now?
Approximately 8 p.m.
2 hours? An hour?
Oh, your first night. What an introduction. The city isn't always what it seems. She then goes into, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to save my voice a bit, goes into explain to you and to Fitz, and sort of is alternating between you and to him, and almost talking to herself at times, that that Gum Gum works in the Overcity as essentially their version of a sex worker. So she's an orc of the night. Proudly shows you her identification registration band, which is 4 digits, 6699, which gave a rare little smile as she was showing it off and making what you're sure is a joke she makes to everybody at different points, that everyone has a good time with Gum Gum.
Does she show all of us that, just incidentally?
Yeah. She's
You can
weaving
hear
this
Falk mutter
into
under his breath, go, nice.
the and the tale that she breaks out to you guys, that it's very clear that that Fitz is aware of this, and he obviously has care and concern, and knows Gum Gum quite well. You can see the obvious care he has for her and the worry that he has for her. That essentially what she has just come from, and what she tried to report or find someone to report to, and before essentially having to hand over a body that she'd found to the authorities, is that she'd found another one, in her words, another dead sex worker. That's not the first, and as she breaks it down to you guys, it's something that has been going on for an extended period, that is into like 20 or 30 bodies that she has been aware of at the very least, of her friends, colleagues, even people that she's ancillarily connected to. And as you're getting a picture that this is a big city. Like as you're listening to all of this, that you could see it, and the map doesn't do it justice, but you can see it as you walk in, that it's broad in scope, but there is a lot of people that live here, that reside here, and it appears that there is some definite darkness lurking, but beneath the lights. And as Gum Gum is explaining all this to you, like she breaks down several times throughout it, but explains to you guys that this is definitely not the first time she's found this. And I'll throw to any questions and stuff that you might have. This found another body, this one in an alleyway, badly beaten, badly not beaten, that's not the right word, almost crushed in places, head completely smashed. The remnants of the blood that they had left got onto Gum Gum. The only way she could identify who the person was because she recognized the tag. She recognized the number, just like she was showing her own. And is what she has been doing is she hasn't had a lot of success with various attempts to report this to the authorities and get assistance, or talk to any of the elected officials or like the mayor's office to gain even an audience or help, to the point that sometimes she hasn't even been able to find someone to take all look at the bodies she's found, and she's actually started like an unofficial graveyard on the outskirts of town where she has been burying her colleagues that no one else would take an interest or care for. And she has just come from finding another one, this time apparently having found some official of some kind to at least take the body.
Kitty wonders, like states out loud, but not to anyone in particular. I wonder if this is why we were warned not to stay out after dark when we entered the city.
I hope so. There should be more warnings to newcomers to the city. Everyone should be aware of this. If essentially, if she is aware individually, having found 20 or 30 of these bodies, that she's confident there's sure to be more. But she's at a wit's end to try and get anything done. Like, you're picking up that. Actually, let's see what you find out. I know you haven't asked me for it, but I'm going to invite you to it. Can you give me an insight check, Kitty, please? Anyone else who wants to join in or give assistance?
No, that'll work.
This is really just looking to see what you guys get below the surface.
22.
Holy shit. Kitty doesn't need assistance. Was that a
What do we
nat
do?
You have a +6. So
yeah, I
this
got a
was,
+6.
This was an insight check, just to see what you can discern about Gum and the story, for want of a better term, that she's telling you guys, the tale that she's. It sounds wrong because it makes it sound like I'm telling you she's lying, but what I'm getting across is like that. The
Narrative.
story she's telling, yeah, what you're hearing. With the 22, Kitty, you can see beneath, like, the very obvious grief, that there's two things that are immediately clear about this orc woman. One is that she is absolutely desperate for help and at her wit's end, like almost at that breaking point of, what do I do next? What else can, like, she is at the end of that tether of what she can see as a path that she can continue to push and take, without help. But the second part of it is counterweighted with, she's fiercely determined to look after even the people she doesn't know, who are in the same industry as what she is, who are, taking the same risks and working and gaining a livelihood in the same field. So she's got this, almost like this warring, breaking point, but determination to see this through and to see justice done, and to stop this terror that is happening from being visited on, what essentially appears, from what she's saying, the evening sex workers of the Overcity. You don't discern any evasiveness or lies or even attempts at half truths. She has laid out everything that she knows. And I'll give you guys as well that as she's doing all this, that the way she has been identifying the people that she can identify is either like markings or identifying features, because without any variance, all of them have varying degrees of their heads and skulls smashed when she finds the bodies. If you want to dig more into that, it's over to you guys for what you want to do with that story, and this now coming to terms with it. Somewhere in there, a giant steaming mug of coffee was pressed into her hands that she has, you can smell it, the aroma of it. Fuck you, especially as a coffee aficionado, that
Fox
really
smells
perks
this.
up your senses.
You can see Fox head lift up from his food and his nostrils flare. Bro, that is some mighty fine coffee. Could I have one of those too, please?
And Fitz doesn't verbalize or interrupt the flow of the conversation, simply nods and just hobbles around to produce another one from you from somewhere under the bar. No idea how he ended up getting one for Gum Gum. That appeared to come out of nowhere, but he gets you one of the same, and it's a giant, almost like the same size as your BS steaming mug of coffee, like a bucket of coffee,
Oh yeah.
and it tastes great.
Kitty would like to ask Gum Gum a follow-up question, as long as nobody else is gonna do anything first.
Fox eating and now drinking coffee.
You
Nice.
spoke up first, jump in.
Kitty wants to ask Gum Gum if she has any ideas of anything or any creatures that may have been able to inflict that kind of damage on the victims. Because I'm guessing the victims aren't all like a particular species.
Good question. All right. Two questions there. So the species question, what she tells you that you see a thing like these may not have been things she's necessarily considered. Like I'll give you with your 22 that Gum Gum is absolutely devoted and genuine. She may not be the most intelligent person in the room. Big heart, not necessarily the biggest brain in this vicinity, but super genuine and caring and concerned. So the victims have all uniformly, after she stops and thinks for a bit, she had noticed that they were all versions of humanoid. So whether that was human, orcish, tiefling, they were all humanoids of some description, and they were all female. So none of the male sex workers appear to have been targeted. At least in her, again, she's talking to her window of around 30 victims that she's aware of. And then so the species was one. What was the second question?
Does she have any thoughts or like suspicions on what could potentially cause that kind of damage? Does she have any thoughts? I should just stop at that.
She thinks it's absolutely awful, and she thinks that someone should be helping her do something. And you don't necessarily, as you can, you're getting quite a literal, like, yeah, this is what she thinks should be happening, and she definitely thinks that the mayor's office should be doing something.
When she says the mayor's office, Kitty kind of scoffs and keeps writing in her book. That's it for me.
Oh, hang on. I want to see what she notices there. What's her? Oh, it's not great.
I think you're
Nothing.
familiar with it. You've worked with Fock for a few years now.
No, actually, that was it ended up being the role was decent. I thought she had a negative on perception, but she doesn't. She's got a positive.
What?
That you don't be hating on a perceptive or prostitute. Don't judge her. Don't judge her stat block. You don't know her life. And notices that sort of reaction, but seems to kind of mistake it. Like, do you know someone in the mayor's office?
Someone in the mayor's
Hope in
office
her
apparently
eyes.
knows me. And I don't know who, but I would love to figure out whom.
If you do, can you ask them about this?
I
hasn't quite
certainly
hit the
will.
nuances of what you're saying.
I will ask many questions, and that will be on the list. I can guarantee it. And that was genuine.
And is taken as such. And that actually seems to give her a little bit of a, and almost like, a burden shared that you feel that you can all sort of see that let down and that relaxing, and almost like she feels that for the first time in forever, it's clear that Fitz is aware of this in some way, shape, or form, and he was definitely talking and has sort of pulled back and watched this interaction unfold. But she definitely appreciates knowing that there's other people who are at least seem to be interested, who seem to care. And then finally, with that, it just sort of looks. I've got a room upstairs. Please get a message to me with Fitz if you need me. I'm here most days, some nights, but be careful. Be careful out there. And look for my friends, because not just the bodies, there are still countless that are missing that we can't find.
Zoom. New challenge unlocked.
Do with that as you will. If there's no
Side
further
quest.
questions, Gum Gum has composed herself and heads. You can see from where Fitz was pointing, she's heading to. This is clearly the other room occupant, and she's heading to one of the cheap rooms. So off goes Gum Gum, exit stage right. And you guys are coming essentially at this point to the end of the meal. You've got the room access keys. So if there's nothing further you kind of want to tackle here, this is just. I do just need to know who's going into what rooms, and are you still taking all of the rooms? So there's 2 cheap, 2 standard, 1 premium.
How much was the premium?
The premium was 15 gold for the night, and it was spacious enough to sleep all of you. With your party, you could all fit on the bed if you liked, but there was Alia's got her garbage bin bed, which has been given to her, including give yourself probably another, I'd say 5 pounds of miscellaneous stuff, that like broken glass and empty bottles and just behind the bar coffee grinds and shit that Fitz has left in there for you, Alia. So you got another 5 pounds to add to your trash stash. So if what you're asking is, could you all fit, because there were some questions about that room, you could definitely all fit into that room, the one that is multi-locked, soundproof, fireproof, the top of the line of what he's got.
Kitty looks at the guys and says, "Look, I'm happy to go 5 for the premium room. If you guys want to share the bed, I'll take the couch." And looks between them.
Victor will sleep on the floor in that situation, so it's really up to Alia's got a bin. I think is still the case. So it's Fock, Jonas, and Zach. Do you guys want to share the bed?
Yeah.
Builder.
Yeah.
Yep. Fox looks at his utensils down and holds up the big spoon and looks at Zach and goes with that gesturing eye like,
Bit seeing the interplay going, oh, you'd be good on the boat too, big man. You'd fit right in.
"Oh, don't you know it, mate?"
All right. So are you now just taking the 1 premium room?
Yep.
Is that the new plan?
Yep.
All right. So if you're like,
It's better
So
to stick together.
take some keys back, hands you some money back for the ones that you'd taken over. So if you take, are you just doing 1 night at this stage? We got distracted by food and drinks. Is that the current plan?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. So if you take off 5 gold, Kitty, off yourself, and the rest of you figure out whoever's taking what amount. If you can figure that out and just tell me how much Victor owes, I'll sort that out. There's 10 gold left to distribute. So you want to do what, 3 gold each, or?
Yeah.
I'm asking you. Just need to figure that out. for your own
Aaliyah just
inventory, so
hands
it's not
over
nothing
the
to
10 gold.
Okay, easy, sorted.
Because we all know Aaliyah's the hoarder of everything.
Yeah.
And Aaliyah is not particularly thrifty. She has She has definitely made that very clear.
Is Kitty close to Aaliyah at all?
You can be. You guys got to
Yeah.
choose where you were sitting. I know she'd be near Fock, but she's got an entire other side at the
Yeah.
bar.
I'd like to think that I'm sitting next to Aaliyah, and I just again reach over and pat her on the head without looking.
Aaliyah purrs, as always.
I love it. All right. As you guys are disengaging, you get a couple of parting gifts. Fock, Fitz refills both your beer stein and your coffee mug, and I'm not going to make you roll a Constitution saving throw. We're going to make the coffee and the beer balance each other out.
Nice.
Kitty, he tops up, not top. Sorry, I keep saying tops up. He refills your glass
Refills.
and gives you the remainder of the bottle with the seals the top and gives you the lime, whatever it is. It doesn't have a label. It just has a straight skin, like clean skin bottle, clear glass, but it's now got a screw top, interestingly, rather than a cork. So you've got about a half full bottle of that.
Kitty
I mean, this
hands
seems
him
like the sort
another
of place that should have a look, it was on the house, but the money's already gone. But who am I to say
Yep.
no to a pretty face? And and with that gives you the lemon one as well. If you like that, try this. 5 gold. Yeah, you got some goodwill there. To mark yourself off for that, you've got some takeaways to head up with. So in order to get there, like I said, it's big, it's open, it's clean, and where the top room is essentially beside the bar. There's a stairwell that goes up to a separate stairwell for that room. So you literally go up there, you go in to the room. Let's say describing all of that stuff for when we resume in the new year. But we will finish with you guys are basically heading up to the room. We'll kind of truncate the what the room looks like and deal with anything that may or may not arise in the overnight. Let's deal with that in the new year. Let's pick up with the party leaving the bar, still not having long rested, as
Oh, we're
Spockiotis
about
noted
to.
earlier, and heading up to have a slumber party in the presidential suite.
Hell yeah.